All right, what is up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Lifting, Running, and Living with your favorite people, Kelly
Hello.
and JK. That's me. That will never not be smooth. All right, uh,
No.
episode 69. We are kicking it off. We are going to just have a little check-in, a little chat, do some updates per the usual, and then chat a little bit about custom workouts, individualized workouts. Hype or not? I just made that up. All right. So, as always, let's kick things off with updates. So, Kelly, what do you got going on?
All right. So, training wise, I'm trying out something new. Have
Okay.
you heard of Runna?
I have heard of it. I am just through context clues assuming that it's can I make a guess on how it
Sure.
goes?
Yeah.
I know it's or I don't know. I assume it's a running type app that
Uh-huh.
also has training programs inside of it that you can follow if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Not
um,
totally off.
no, you're not totally off.
Okay.
Have you seen people talk about Runna in the wild on the socials?
The only memorable comment that I have seen, so not on socials, inside of the Fitness Foundations community,
Mhm.
someone did share. Someone was posting about getting back into running or either building their mileage back up, something like that. And they were commenting about how difficult it felt or something like that. Like just noticed that, oh man, just not as fast as I used to be or whatever. And they had mentioned that they used Runna, and someone else had commented something along the lines of like, yeah, I've used that too. And I've heard some of that feedback from people before about one of the particular plans and how maybe you do need to adjust it a little bit because it might like either be too aggressive or not aggressive. I can't remember what it was, but
Probably
that's
too
the
aggressive.
only. Okay, too aggressive. That would definitely track maybe,
Yeah.
but that's as much as I have heard.
I've only heard bad things.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well, hey, all
well,
right.
people love to complain on the internet.
That is
Um,
facts. Facts.
yeah. The hate that I've heard has to do with newer runners. So that's why I was guessing it's too aggressive. Um, but for those who do run and use Strava, Runna and Strava have a connection now. So, and in Strava, you can they have like monthly challenges sometimes if you
Okay.
do like a certain number of minutes of activity or whatever. So I did one in December, and it gives you a 2-week trial for Runna. So I was like,
Hmm.
maybe I'll just try this out and see what's up, and then decide if I want to pay for it for a few months. Um, and so far it's pretty good. So setting up the plan was really nice. There's a lot of customization you can do. I'm doing the 5K improvement plan. So you can also do it like specific for a race that you're running. This is one of their like default plans. I
Okay.
think the ones specific to a race are more AI integrated. So it's like supposed to customize it a little more for you versus I'm guessing like the one I'm in is more cookie cutter, but still customized to like whatever I put in. So like you put in how many days a week you're running, your current mileage, your goals, recent race time, how long you want the plan to be. What else was there? You can add
Sounds
strength.
sounds legit right now so far, as far as what it
Yeah.
allows you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once you're in the plan, you can even do more customization. It's like the advanced settings. So with running, it allowed me to go in and say like how many workouts I want per week. You can do one or two, and those are separate from the long run. So the default was 2 based on what I put in, but I'm an advanced runner who runs 6 days a week and has been running for years. So I
Yeah.
think it
Same.
defaulted to that. Yeah.
Same.
But you can change that. So I changed it to 1 per week because I like a workout and then some intervals within a long run if I have 2 workouts. Um, you can adjust like how difficult, how do they say it? It's like how often you want pace targets in your long runs. So whether you want just like 7 miles easy, or like one I have next week is a progression run. So it's like a couple miles easy and then 2 miles at this pace, 2 miles at this pace, and getting
Hmm.
faster each time. Um, so yeah, there's a lot you can do. Then you can add strength, which I thought was really cool. You can tell
Yeah.
it how many days you want, how long you want the workouts to be, if like what your focus is, what equipment you have. So that's my new strength right now.
Okay.
So far, so good. I've only done a week, um, partially because I was sick for a week. I meant to start this sooner, but life had other
How
plans.
how long do you plan to use it initially?
So my first race is March 28th. So kind of perfectly, once I pushed my start date back until last Monday,
Okay.
the plan itself goes through that weekend. So I'm just using it's a 2 mile race, so it's not a 5K, but I'm using it as like my race, quote unquote, at the end of the 5K improvement plan. So that's like what, 14 weeks or something?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
3 months.
Okay.
Um yeah, so I'm gonna keep trying out. One thing I have noticed, and this is why I'm guessing it gets a lot of bad feedback,
Mm.
is there doesn't seem, at least in whatever I'm in, there's not really a good way to adjust. You can drag your workouts around yourself and adjust that way, but like yesterday, I was supposed to do my long run, and this won't surprise you because we were texting. I was just dead to the world, and I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm running today."
Yeah.
So like my only option for the long run was just to do skip workout, but it didn't like ask me why I was skipping, which I wish it would have. Because my
Okay.
heel was also hurting, so it was like a combination of two things. Um, I did notice in workouts you get to rate them, and then it'll do like your an AI analysis of your linked activity.
Hmm.
And if you do a thumbs down, it asks you why the workout was bad. So like whether it just felt hard, you're injured, whatever. So maybe that's the means to adjust, but I don't know. It doesn't seem clear to be like, hey, something started hurting. I need to remove this run. It's just like skip or don't skip.
Okay. Question for you.
Yeah.
So your initial feedback with wishing that, or being like inquisitive about, okay, why isn't there a feature to record why I skipped the workout or whatnot? Was that a thought that you had prior to then also seeing that it has this thing where if you thumbs down it, it asks about that? So basically, I'm saying, like, did you have that thought about that feature not being there before you saw the, oh, okay, well, if I thumbs down, you ask me for feedback, but if I skip a workout, you don't ask for feedback?
I thumbs down first. So I didn't think about skipping a
Okay,
workout until, yeah. So I knew for thumbs down, you get to give feedback, and then
got you.
skip workout just skips it.
Okay, the my context for asking that question is because I just truly would not have thought about that being a feature for a like self-serve app, I guess. I don't know why I just blanked
Yeah.
on what to
Self
call it,
guided.
but self-guided. Thank you. Yeah, like a self-guided app. Because
Yeah.
I even think about apps where you can shift the day and different things like that. That's a oh, this actually. Well, I mean, we're just doing updates, but that transitions like really well into
Yeah.
what we're kind of talking about. But yeah, okay,
The
okay,
only reason I think for Runna specifically is, and maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know fully, but like I feel like they lean heavily into the AI of it all.
hmm,
So I would expect, like, if I were to skip a run,
yeah.
it'd be like, why are you skipping, to know if it needs to adjust the next week, you know? Because like if
Is
I were injured, like I shouldn't run injured, then my plan should adjust.
yeah. Is there a free like a free flow or a spot where you can just put notes in there whenever you want, like almost journal style? Like you can leave a comment on the session.
You can leave workout notes, yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't know if you
Yeah.
can for a skipped one,
Yeah. Okay.
but I don't know if it impacts anything. Um, but yeah, that's the only reason why I guess people overdo it. That and like the lack of knowledge. Like I know what I want to adjust, and
Yeah.
if it told me to do something that I didn't think was super smart, I would just not
Mhm.
do it, you know? Um, but
Does it
yeah.
have a like a readiness assessment or score or anything like that going into that training day?
No.
Okay.
Um, it does it says something about, like, analyzing your pace.
Okay.
It's
Which that's more just
monitoring.
your performance itself, I'm assuming then, right? Versus your biofeedback.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
more about, like,
makes sense.
adjusting the paces it suggests that you try to hit for, like, workouts and stuff.
I mean, that really sounds like it sounds it sounds like solid like what I would expect from a do it yourself uh
Yeah.
thing, you know? I could see using something like that in combination with like ChatGPT for
Mm.
sure. Like if it has the ability to do, I don't know, like a PDF or whatever it might be. But if you have the ability to that day download your program, or you could even, talk into ChatGPT and say, hey, here's what's going on. I'm feeling, feeling a little bit under recovered. How would I make adjustments like that? I could see somebody figuring that out, but I don't know.
Yeah. So far so
Interesting.
good. I
Okay.
only have a week so far. My only other complaint, and this is very specific to people like me who record their
Mm,
workouts like I do. Um, when I do my Wednesday track workouts, I record my warm up, the workout itself, and my cool down separately.
okay.
So it's like 3 separate activities.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is I wear different shoes for my warm up and cool down and my workout so that I can track their mileages appropriately. But Runna only lets you sync to one activity and then it tries to apply the whole prescribed workout to that one activity. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do there because it does not give me any good feedback, as you can imagine, because my
Um,
activities are separate.
we
Um,
we spin the block on something there. Is that usual to use different shoes for warm up and cool down versus the actual run?
it's not uncommon.
Oh. Hmm.
I wear my
Okay.
super shoes for the workout portion,
No,
and I
seems
don't want
good.
to wear them out sooner than I
Oh.
have to by running the easy miles in them.
Oh, that's why I would be completely unfamiliar with that concept because you
Yeah.
said the word easy miles. Okay. Yeah. All right. The block has been spun. Moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
All right.
What
That's my
else you got
training update.
going? What else you got going? Give us a living update.
Um, my living update. Well, I've got some living things that maybe I'll be able to talk about next recording,
Fair enough. Okay.
hopefully. Fingers crossed. Right now I have deleted Instagram and TikTok off of my phone. So I'm in a
Oh,
social media blackout.
okay.
Not really because I can go on my laptop, but
Okay. So just off your phone right now.
yeah, I deleted TikTok last week because I was like, this is becoming too much. I don't need to see this.
Okay.
And especially with all of the news every day, I don't need to be
Hmm.
scrolling through TikTok just getting bombarded with all of that. I can seek it out if I want to know what's going on, not get random people's opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Instagram, just like, I don't know. I found myself just going there just to go there. And I'm like, why am I here?
For me to post savage making fun of you memes. That's what it's for.
It doesn't even apply to me because I didn't run a marathon. I
I'm
haven't
just
run a
saying.
marathon.
Hmm. I knew you
Yeah.
were going to totally split hairs on that one. I knew it because I was going to cross it out and put ultra marathon, and I just left it.
That would
I just
apply.
left it. I knew you were going to do that. How do you? How do you try to find a harmony, if you do, with staying informed and also just not not feeling like you're being bombarded with news.
That's a good question.
What is happening in there?
It's pumpkin. Hold on.
Oh,
Anyway, do I? I don't.
or
Uh,
do you try to, I'm asking from my point of view. I do sometimes think to myself like, how am I gonna, like, I used to almost, it was almost like plant my flag in the ground of like, I don't
yeah,
watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I don't, like, it was like this. Yeah. It was like planting my flag in the ground. And then I would be in a conversation or somebody would ask me about something and I would have no idea like what they were talking about.
oh,
And so I was like, oh, I've so far removed myself from the news. Not now, but I
yeah,
remember for a pretty significant period of time, I was like, man, I've so far removed myself from certain aspects, especially of like the political news cycle,
yeah,
that now, well, hold on. I don't know that that's a great idea because I'm now uninformed about things that are affecting like myself and people around me.
yeah.
So I'm just kind of
Um,
self-projecting on there a bit for sure. But I was just curious if you deal with that at all.
yeah. I mean, I don't watch the news anymore.
Yeah,
But
you're talking like network, like Channel 9 News, like that sort of thing, you mean, right? Or like CBS
yeah,
News? Okay,
yeah.
right.
But I do follow like our local news on Instagram, so
Okay,
that's how I would get a lot of more of the local stuff going on. Obviously, they would also post some of the nationwide big things.
right.
Um, and then I have a couple. I follow that Aaron P. I don't remember his last name. I follow him.
Oh,
He,
yeah. Uh-huh.
you probably know who I'm talking
I
about.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it
And I've
like Aaron P.
subscribed.
Ruthar or something like that?
I don't. I wasn't part
I
of.
know who you're talking about though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
He's like an individual journalist.
Yeah. Mhm.
Used to be a lawyer,
Yeah.
which is a cool combo. Um, so I see all of his stuff a lot. And now that I don't have Instagram, I am on his email list, so I see his emails every day. And I also get emails from Betches.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
which is kind of just funny. But they do cover a lot. And Teen Vogue. And I subscribed to their emails because I remember it must have been early last year. There was something going around of like uh how the media outlets lean, like which ones
Mhm.
are moderate, which ones are
Yeah.
conservative,
I
liberal.
used to subscribe to that email.
Oh, yeah. And then I saw Teen Vogue is, I think, if I remember correctly, pretty moderate and just like reporting on the facts.
I remember.
So anyway, I subscribe to their list. So I get those. Um, so that's probably how I'll keep informed. And then Ty usually keeps me
Yeah.
abreast of anything I need to know about too that he sees on his side of the internet.
I just I just read whatever I need to on Facebook. It seems to be accurate.
Oh god. I haven't been on
Yeah.
Facebook in a long time.
Okay. Well, yeah. It was just not to hijack that part. It was just
Yeah.
something that came to mind. The uh, what is the podcast from Betches? Morning announcements. Yeah, the morning announcements podcast
Oh.
is pretty. Yeah, it's just a few minutes every week, at least every weekday. I want to say.
Oh, I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, it's real fast, real simple. The notes, and
Oh, that's nice.
it's definitely slanted and
Yeah, for sure.
fascinating for sure. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So yeah.
Anything else updates wise for you?
No, not right now.
Okay. I'll run through mine because
Yeah, what about you?
yeah. So for me, from a living standpoint, so I'll do mine a little bit backwards. From a living standpoint, this past Monday, so we're recording this on a Monday. So last Monday, Mace, my 13-year-old, and I went to Nashville, which for us is I'll make you happy. It is about a 6-ish hour drive
Oh, nice.
from here, so I didn't give you mileage. So it was about a 6-ish hour drive. Illinois State University, which is the local university here in Bloomington. That's where I live. Illinois, made, I know Illinois State, Bloomington is in Illinois. They made the championship game for the FCS division.
Ooh.
So most people are probably pretty familiar with like Division One as far as like, your big schools like Alabama, Texas, LSU, Colorado, like all that
Yeah.
stuff. There's essentially like a second tier, which is the FCS group of schools,
Hmm.
and Illinois State made the championship game. And it was, I mean, it is a massive deal that they made it all the way to the championship game, because when they went into the playoffs, they were the lowest ranked seed in the playoffs. Like, I don't even know if they were seeded. They were just the lowest rated team in the playoff. They weren't a bad team at all. It's just for the 16 teams, I think it was, that
Mhm.
made the playoffs, they were dead last. And they just kept winning and winning and winning on the road. So we decided to make that trip. The game was Monday night, so we drove down. We left on Monday morning. Did a quick check-in at the hotel. Went down to the stadium. It was on. It was in the Vanderbilt University Stadium,
Hmm.
which is a really nice stadium, for sure. Small by SEC standards
Yeah.
as far as stadiums go, and that was fantastic because no matter what seat you would have in that stadium, you would have a great view of the game. So that's always a cool thing. So we drove down. That game was Monday night, and then crashed at the hotel. Did not hit the Nashville Strip. And came right back home on Tuesday. But that game is universally recognized as one of the best championship games in college football history. Because
Really?
yeah, ISU was down like 21-7, I think, at half or something crazy. Came all the
Whoa.
way back to tie it like 28-28 at the end of the fourth quarter. So it goes to
Dang.
overtime, and then they end up losing like 35-34, I think it was. Yeah, 35-34.
Wow.
They end up losing on a last-minute touchdown in overtime. It was insane. They played Montana State, so congratulations, Montana State. And if there happens to be anybody here who's listening who's a Montana State fan, you guys showed up and showed out. Like that
Hmm.
stadium, they took over the entire stadium.
Dang, from Montana, that's far.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't expect to see that coming at all, especially because, we're just about 6 hours.
Yeah.
But as we started kind of thinking about it, Mason and I were talking about it, and we're like, well, I mean, like it's Montana. You can make a trip and go to Nashville, like Country Music Central, and party
Yeah.
it up. Because there were people, the game was Monday, and there were people like, yeah, man, we got down here Friday. They're like, we're just trying to make it through the night.
Oh
It's
my
like, yeah, I
gosh.
gotta tell for sure. Yeah, but everybody was super cool. So that was a pretty good experience to be able to do that. So that's my living
Nice.
little update. And then from a lifting update, just figure what I do is just kind of check in on where things are for whatever phase I'm in. So right now I'm in a fat loss phase. I started that officially on January 1st. Is
Oh,
when I started the fat loss phase. As of right
a
now, I'm
Thursday.
committed. Yeah. So yeah, officially started it that day.
Okay.
Um, I gave myself starting that Sunday, I gave myself a few days to kind of warm up and, see
Yeah.
what sorts of adjustments I may or may not need to make. I will say, like, just going right into it, I initially was thinking to myself, well, maybe I'll put this off until after we come back, like the week after we come back, which would have been this week from the
Mhm.
football game, because us going to that game wasn't actually decided until maybe about a week before at the most. So
Oh, wow.
this was not like some long planned thing, because we didn't even know they were
Yeah.
going to make it.
Oh,
But
fair.
Base is like a massive, sports fan in general. And then, of course, when a local university makes it to the championship, like that's kind of a huge deal. So
Yeah.
um, I decided not to postpone it though. So, and I'm not going to claim that I stayed in any sort of a deficit while I was gone for that foul space, because I definitely did not. And then I decided to keep the party rolling for a few more days. However, it is what it is. Still took care of some basic stuff. Like there's certain things that I'm still continuing to keep in place from whether I'm in a fat loss phase or not. So I have a step goal. I have a one thing that is different is I have a weekly cardio goal for number of minutes. So right
Ooh,
now, starting off with 60 minutes of cardio for the week. So that
okay.
can be all at once, which I doubt I'll ever really want to do that. But so far it's shaken out to an average of about 2 like 30-minute sessions has seemed to be about right so far. So for the first
So you're doing with cardio what I'm doing with lifting.
probably, yeah, basically. Yeah, basically. So
Nice.
that's what I'm doing there. Still lifting 4 days a week. Yeah, an hour of cardio for the week, which is usually 2 30-minute sessions. Steps, keep the steps average 10,000. Right now, water, about 100 ounces or more of water. I'm trying to think. There's really nothing that's like totally outlandish or crazy. It's a matter of like just controlling my calories,
Mhm.
really, is probably the bigger challenge out of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is one other thing that I jotted down, and I'll just leave that at the updates. As of right now, and I was sharing this with an accountability partner, I don't have a defined like why yet
Yeah.
for this fat loss phase. So yes, I have a targeted range that I've identified like by the end of February, beginning of March. In that range, I'd like to be around this weight. And also, I don't have a like photo shoot. I don't have a specific here. And I'm
Mhm.
still just going to continue to keep on rolling and also not pressure myself to, okay, by week 3, like you have to have a why. And it flies in the face of kind of some of the stuff that I talk to people about.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, there's going to be days where you're just like, why am I sticking to this? And you have a choice to make, and your why will be the thing that helps you remember, okay, I'm doing this because.
Yeah.
And right now I don't have that. Also, you know, I have people who will approach me and they're just like, okay, it's time for me to go into a fat loss phase because like they're starting off with something. And I'm just like, I'm just going to give it a shot and we'll just see how this rolls. So it's like the most nonchalant fat loss phase ever right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, I
Do you
know.
have a plan for
So
how long?
as of right now, I'm going to commit to the end of February. As of right
Okay.
now, I'll commit to 8 weeks or an 8 week
Yeah.
period because last week I was not in a deficit. So uh, I'll commit to an 8 week period and we'll reevaluate after that. However, I'm not doing that from the standpoint of let's see how 8 weeks goes. And then if I don't hit it, I can carry on. I don't know if I'm going to frame this the right way. I'm really focused on like, you have 8 weeks to get this done. So it's
Mm.
not like I don't need to take it that seriously
Yeah.
because I can just do whatever later on. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel like there are times where folks will say, like, if somebody were to say to me, well, I don't know, I think I'll do about 8 weeks, and then I can tell about 2 weeks in, like they're just not taking it seriously because they're too flexible with the deadline, basically.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's what I mean. Like I'm treating it like it is a deadline, not like oh, I'll just keep pushing it out because I really didn't take it seriously last week.
So how do you get yourself to do that? Because there's no external factor making it a deadline.
I, Kelly, if I had an answer for you, like I that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Asking
saying.
for a friend.
Yeah. Like it would be great if I truly had some sort of a specific for you. And I truly just don't. Like I don't have a, well, it's because it's a gut check or whatever. It's just because, well, I said I was going to.
Mm,
So I'm just going to. Yeah.
okay.
Some days it works out and some days it doesn't. However, I'm just gonna continue. I'm just gonna keep on rolling. So yeah.
Mm,
So that's what's up.
nice.
All right. Okay, so let's get into talking about. We'll go through this topic. So I sent Kelly something, and it was an email that I got from a company that has a group training model. basically.
Mhm.
And it was a marketing email. And in this marketing email, I'm not going to mention the specific company because the specific company itself isn't like key to the topic, basically,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Mhm.
and I will say, if anybody happens to recognize, like, basically, as I kind of talk about this a little bit, if anybody happens to know, like, what company it is, like, be aware that I'm, like, all in and think that they do fantastic programming. And actually, the person who is the founder of this particular company is somebody who, like, I've bought their courses before. I've run that training program myself before, like, participated in, not run, participated in that training program myself before, and take a ton of inspiration and learning from the work that they do. That being said,
Mhm.
in this particular email, the overall tone of it was basically, one-on-one training is dead. Like, it's not necessary, and it's overhyped, it's overused. It basically, like, it's not necessary to have custom workouts. And um, from just the history that I'm aware of, the folks that, or the individual at least, that runs this organization, much like many of the others that have group training models, for quite a while was doing one-on-one custom workouts, so writing individual
Yeah.
programming for people. And now I don't know if they still do that. However, like, for sure, they're all in on the group training model. Like, for sure, it's like
Yeah.
an app-based group training model. However, what I thought was interesting would be just for us to have a little chat around, um, is it like, what are our thoughts and our perspectives on customization for workouts? Like, is that important to have a workout that's made specifically for you? Is it important to have a training program that's made specifically for you? And in this particular email that I got, some of the arguments, guess, basically to support that one-on-one customized workouts are overhyped, were things like, you know, first, we need to put way more value in the execution of movements themselves, and the intensity level and how hard someone is working. That's going to be way more important than, a particular movement being customized, or I should say a particular program being customized just for you. And just the overwhelming belief that for most people, a basic training program works. For most people, it's really more about them being better at executing and that sort of thing. So that's what I wanted to bring as a topic. Hopefully, I explained that somewhat well.
I
So,
think so.
yeah. So if I say to you, or when I say to you, hey, think, do you think personalized, customized programming is overrated? What do you say? Yeah
I
or
mean,
no?
I
From
think it
your perspective.
depends. From my
Okay.
perspective, if we are equating customized, personalized workouts to one-on-one coaching, I do not think it's overrated. Um, if we're talking literally just about customizing the workout to a person, then maybe. Uh,
Well, let's take the coaching out of it.
oh,
So
what?
the customized workouts themselves. So a workout program, let's say like a program that's written for an individual versus a template.
Yeah, I would say most people will just improve if they execute a template.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for
But
listening to another episode of
I mean, kind of to their point, like, people get stuck in the execution, whether it's, what this person was talking about, like, the intensity and all of that, which I think more
Mhm.
specific to lifting. Um, well, at least with people I've worked with and talked to, have more troubles with intensity and lifting
Yeah.
versus intensity and running. It kind of, like, not that it makes more sense, but it's like, I know the difference between run hard and not run hard, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and there I don't know, people are, like, a lot less afraid to get injured in running, it seems like. Um, I don't wanna go down that tangent, though. But where
Okay.
was I going with this? Well, I feel like part of people not lifting hard enough is they're afraid if they go too heavy, they're gonna get hurt, but that's, like, not
Yeah.
the topic of our conversation,
Right. Right. Right.
or, like,
Right.
the focus of it. Um, and I was only using that to point out the difference between lifting and running and customization, but, yeah, in the execution, like, where the one-on-one coaching becomes very useful, we've talked about this so many times before, is when you miss a day. And then you're like, "What do I do? What do I do in this template?" Or you're like, uh, I don't know, you get sick for 3 days, or like you
Yeah.
have a trip planned where you can't do as much, and then a lot of people, if they just have a template, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to adjust it to still, make some progress or do quote unquote enough.
Right.
Um, so, I mean, if we want to boil it down to a yes or a no, then I would say customized workouts are overrated. Like, me giving someone a very specific speed workout is not what's going to make them faster, you know?
Right.
It's the
Yeah.
execution of the whole training plan, and the specific workouts are just a small part of it. Um, but yeah, I think that I haven't done group workouts or group programs, so I can't really speak from that perspective, but
Okay.
you can. So I'd be curious,
Yeah. For sure.
how you find they compare in terms of, like, helping people through those sticking points that if they're just following a template, they have little guidance on.
Yeah. I think that last part that you just threw in is so key that they have a little guidance on. So the guidance, regardless of how the program is written, there has to be like a resource
Yeah.
of there has to be some guidance as a resource along the way, no matter what. So for context, I do both one-to-one programming, like custom programming that I build literally from the ground up, and I also have which is actually going to be transitioning soon. I actually have group programming or group training that is available too. And the people who do the group training, they have me as a resource if they want to use me and they have questions about like, hey, I need to make adjustments with these movements because of injury or because of my schedule or whatever it may be. My one-on-one clients, like they have ultimate access. They can ask whatever they want, whenever they want. The difference between the two, so for context, for me, the difference between the two is when I build a training template for a group, then there is an overall, like just kind of foundation and structure that I use for
Mhm.
that particular program. So, for example, if it's primarily focused, like there's a group program that I write for my gym. So with that particular program, it's an upper body, or it's actually a full body day with an upper bias, a full body day with a lower bias, and then a true full body day, and then two like Metcon, like optional like Metcon type days. So the purpose of that particular program is to make sure that we hit all of the major movement patterns, get your strength work in, and then also keep you like just what we'll just call functionally fit, because it's folks that typically have like transitioned away from CrossFit or
Mhm.
something along those lines. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's the purpose of that program. If I am writing a program for an individual, then I'm still going to do very basic things. I'm going to ensure that there are basic things inside that program. Like, let me make sure that we hit all of the major movement patterns: push, pull, hinge, squat, press, lunge, carry. I'll make sure that we hit the movement patterns. However, what I'm starting with is, what are your specific goals? What is your specific schedule? Talk to me about your injury history. Talk to me about where you are from a nutrition standpoint. Like, there's a whole lot more that I need to understand about the individual, or want to understand about the individual. And then I know that I'm going to include particular movement that I'm going to include the major movement patterns and all the major muscle groups. However, when somebody says to me, I'd really like to bring up my shoulders, I feel like that's a lagging body part.
Mhm.
I just did a check-in with somebody last week when we're getting ready to move into a new training cycle when she gets back from vacation. And so the questions that I'm asking are like, hey, when it comes to lower body, do you want to bias more towards quads or glutes? Okay, so that changes. Like, yeah, we hit everything. However, we over we basically program more volume in one area. I also have an understanding in some cases, I may have a client who just, when it comes to her cycle, like she knows there are particular days or a particular week where she just like historically just feels like she's just like dead to the world.
Yeah.
So as opposed to a group training program, and we're not about to get into the cycle syncing argument. Kelly and I are on the same page with that.
Yeah.
In a group program, it'll be something like, hey, it's 6 weeks where the intensity and the progression builds over those 6 weeks. So we go from an RIR like 4 to 5 to down to 3 to 4, down to 2 to 3. And then the last couple of weeks, it's 1 to 2 or 0 to 1 or 2. We bust it out. With an individual program, if I'm writing that and then the person says like, hey, I just noticed like around week number 5, that's when you want me to really pop off, just as a heads up, may or may not feel like that's going to be the move, then cool, make adjustment for that. And then what we'll do is we'll make some tweaks so we can, because we still are at some point, like we need to go heavy AF. So we'll
Yeah.
rewrite, like that's how I look at it when it comes to customization and customized workouts, individualized workout plans versus the group aspect. They just, to me, they both include a focus on the same basic important, got to make sure you hit these things.
Yeah.
However, it's like I don't want to say the end goal is different. It's just like, it's like walking into a room, like a meeting, like a conference,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm making a presentation at the conference. There's a difference between I'm making a presentation to this entire company and I'm making a presentation to this company. Oh, and by the way, I also know that the CEO is there. So I want to
Mm.
make sure that that particular person, I also know some ins and outs about that person and some things that they really like. If I crack a joke about this certain thing, or if maybe I use this as a walk-up song because that's, an artist that they like I know that's going to like maybe make more of an impact. I
Yeah.
just made that up, but it's kind of how I look at it. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. It
It's a
does
weird
make sense.
analogy, but yeah.
Yeah. I would also say I feel like group programs or like templates with guidance are, and the reason why I said yes at the start, I feel like they're really good for people who are either like newer or, how do I say this? Like less advanced,
Yeah, because I
like,
was gonna say I actually disagree with you there, but go ahead. I'm
oh,
waiting for the full.
okay. Um, People with more room to improve, I think I now I'm thinking about it more. If they
I
can,
shouldn't have said anything.
huh?
I
Well,
shouldn't have
now I'm thinking about the people who use Runner that get injured because they're new runners and they just go too hard. um, well, my thought was the templates and group programs that aren't really specific to a goal that an individual has can be good for the newer lifters, runners, because they're going to improve no matter what they do as long as they
Mhm.
don't get injured, because they just have so
Yeah,
much room to grow
I could
kind
see
of
that.
thing. So they can, not that they can just do whatever and improve, but they can do whatever pointing towards a goal, like a
Mhm.
general goal, and they'll improve. Um, versus once you get a little more advanced and you're like, kind of like your example, have more specific goals, like you might be better off with a more customized plan or like someone to partner with that can give you more specific focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I yeah, right off the bat, why I was saying that I wasn't so my intention in saying that I disagree is not that I don't think you're right when it comes to how effective like a template, because I'll just
Mhm.
call it a template. I
Yeah.
I I don't disagree that a template can and actually is pretty effective for people who are newer or more like intermediate lifters. I would say that, and I'm thinking from a lifting standpoint, clearly.
Yeah.
Um, I think that they can be really effective for people who are experienced because you have a better understanding of what adjustments need to be made
Ooh.
based on what you've got going on. And I
Yeah.
say this from the context of somebody who, like right now, I'm following a group training template for my
Yeah.
own training right now to remove like that from my brain. And also, I still am who I am, so I end up making tweaks to how it's designed anyway.
Yeah.
So, um, like an example that I will give is right now in the group training template that I'm following. It's an app-based template, and on the upper body days, they routinely program, let's say like an overhead press and then superset that with like a horizontal row
Okay.
based on what I have worked really hard to try to come back from over now a year plus with the shoulder impingement and all that stuff. I have learned that it's problematic for me if I start off my lift with a heavy press and then row. I'm way
Mhm.
better off if I start off with a heavy row and then lighter pressing, and then in the second superset, then go to heavy pressing with a lighter row. So just changing the
Mm.
order of those two things, and also um, how much like overhead pressing versus horizontal pressing that I can do and recover from easily in a week is just different. So I've just
Yeah.
noted, and that's again based on like many people, it's based on certain tweaks or maybe an injury or whatever it may be. So does that mean that I need one-on-one customized programming? No. What I do need is either guidance or knowledge. I need one of
Yeah.
those two things in order for that my training to be effective. And at the end of the day, I think that is what it's always going to come down to. Somebody
Yeah.
can write you a customized program. However, if they're not around to answer the question that you have about said program when you are executing it, then that customized program is not really going to do a whole lot for you.
Now it's just a template.
Yeah. It's like somebody building you a customized website for your business and then not being around when you need to make adjustments to the website. I have been the customer who has been in that spot before because I was cheap and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, I only want to pay this price. All I need you to do is build the website." And then I was like, "Oh, by the way, I needed to change this one thing on the website." And the person was like, "Well, that's not what you paid me for." Like, "You are correct." And you tried to tell me. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think, and we'll wrap this up very shortly. I think what you talked about with your example with Runna
Yeah.
and how you were talking about like those questions with, okay, well, why did you shift the workout and different things like that? I think that those are the types of things that come from like coaching
Yeah.
and again, the resource, like that sort of a thing. And I say this as somebody who in a little less than a month is going to be launching a more readily available group training program and
Mhm.
trying to figure out like what is the right amount of support that needs to be there while also maintaining my sanity and my bandwidth.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where it's like, well, if you are, say you're somebody who's in that group who does the group training program, I'm not setting the expectation that I'm going to notice that you shift the workouts at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I think making sure that somebody knows like, oh, hey, every 3 weeks, there's a Zoom call that I can hop on and I can ask a question where it's like, hey, I've noticed that my foot doesn't recover as much, or I've noticed that, my arm is whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
then here, let's try these things. Yeah. So I don't think that the premise of um, saying like that customization is overrated or whatnot. I would say that in some cases it
Mhm.
is very overrated. I think at the end of the day, and just like how you've talked about it, totally like solidifies how I feel that at the end of the day, you don't necessarily need customization as long as you have either guidance or you have the knowledge. I just happen to have like one-on-one clients who just literally like they just don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no problem. Let me do all that stuff. And if you have a question, let me know. Otherwise, all you got to do is go out there and execute. That's it.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, cool. All right.
Cool.
Anything else?
Nope. That's it. If the people want to find us, you can do so on Instagram at Lifting Running Living Pod. I can't promise either of us will see it for a bit since I deleted
My
Instagram.
gosh. Oh, man.
Are you logged into our account?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so one of
It's
us
enough for
may
me to
or may
just
not
keep up
see it
with
for a bit.
mine. I know. Are we
I
just
know.
like the worst when it comes to, I mean, I stay
Yeah.
on mine. I try to stay on top of that, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's just a lot.
Yeah,
Anyway,
man.
I do have our email
Follow
on
us.
my phone. So,
Follow us for more tips, folks.
yeah, follow us for content creation tips.
Nice.
But if you do want to contact us, email is probably the better way, which is liftingrunningLivingPod@gmail.com.
Facts. All
Or
right.
leave a
Thank you.
comment on Spotify. We
Oh,
will
yeah,
see that.
that too. Well, thank
I
you,
know.
folks, for listening to another episode of Lifting, Running, and Living. We appreciate you. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.